My wife demanded I cut my kids' college fund and take them out of private school for her Botox fund, so I cut her SAHM dream instead. I have been with my wife Allie for 2 years, married for 1, and we are expecting our first child together in a few months. I also have 2 children, 8 and 6, from a previous relationship with Alex, and we have 50-50 custody. However, Alex travels a lot for work, so we have the kids more than that most of the time, so we get child support from her. Before we got married, Allie and I spoke extensively about what we wanted, and she was adamant about being a stay-at-home mom. I was upfront with her that I was fine with that. We'd be able to afford it, but she would need to be a SAHM for all of the kids to be able to make it work. She agreed happily, so as you can probably predict, she sat me down the other day and told me that she wants, at minimum, her first year as a mom, to only be a SAHM to our shared baby. She said after that, she can help out more with the other kids, but wants to protect her first-time motherhood, and said it's her #1 boundary. I told her that would no longer work, then I couldn't support a family of 5 on just my salary without help with all of the kids. She said I needed to figure it out and respect her boundaries, but this simply won't be possible. We have family to help for sure, but she's saying she doesn't want to be responsible for the older kids at all, the first year. Also, we want at least 1 more child, and I'm now worried she'll try to extend the year with another baby. She's incredibly hurt and angry, but I don't think it would even be possible to respect her boundaries. So would I be the asshole for reneging on my promise to let her be a stay-at-home mom? Update 1 day later, I talked to Allie and laid everything out. I told her that her demands were out of line and incredibly entitled, and that if she insisted on keeping them, I was no longer comfortable with her quitting her job and would not support it. Further, 2 weeks without my kids was ridiculous, so I told her that if she went into labor during our custody time, my parents would have the older kids when we were in the hospital, but I am no longer comfortable sending my kids away to their moms for 2 weeks. Other families don't normally do that, and I would not either. But for the first 2 months of us having the baby, I would keep paying the nanny and take care of the older kids' things, which is longer than I had originally agreed. Honestly, it was also more than she'd even originally agreed to, so I thought it was a fair compromise. She lost her mind and flipped out at me, told me that I wasn't respecting her first-time motherhood, WTF, and that she shouldn't have to care for kids I didn't give birth to for the first year of her baby's life. I was honestly over it at this point and done arguing. I told her she needed to check herself and that none of this was new or a surprise. If she didn't want to do it, she shouldn't have agreed to it, and her being a stay-at-home mom was off the table. To be clear, I know I could make it work with just my salary, but it would mean taking the funds I would allocate towards her fun money for things like shoeing, self-care, etc. And I'm not comfortable telling an adult dependent on me financially that she couldn't have a choice for fun money. I showed her the budget, which backfired because she said that I didn't need to defund her fun money, and gave me a few solutions, which were take the older kids out of private school and ask my ex to give us that money in child support instead. Stop putting money into my older kids' college fund, selling my boat. Those were her solutions, none of which has her sacrificing anything, only me and or my kids. And the first one was so unreasonable, I could only imagine how that conversation with my ex would go. She'd laugh me out of the country LOL. I told Allie all of that was unreasonable and a non-starter, and honestly, just made me see where her priorities are. So yeah, I told her that if she couldn't agree to common sense compromises, I could no longer trust her to be a SAHM to our older kids, that there was zero daylight in how much I cared about my older kids versus our shared baby, and had to protect them both equally. The fact that she thought it was reasonable to stop saving for my older kids' college while still giving her money for Botox and highlights showed me where her priorities would lie if she no longer brought in income. I said I was no longer comfortable with her quitting her job, and that since my work has daycare on site, that would be the best option for our family after her FMLA leave. She's devastated and is being cold towards me, but surprisingly not my kids, which is good. I don't want to kill her dreams of being a SAHM, but I can't work with someone who refuses to be reasonable. We discussed it with our therapist last week, who wasn't exactly on my side, obviously, but was trying to point out the unfairness, and she just keeps saying she needs me to prioritize her needs and boundaries. The therapist even tried explaining that these are not boundaries, but she's not listening.